So I think I want to start with a definition of soul. I mean,
Fantastic.
I pulled this out of a regular old dictionary, and it was surprisingly right on for me. It had a couple of limitations, but here's the dictionary definition: the seat of life, vitality, and being, the essence or animating principle or actuating cause of life manifested in humans as thinking, feeling, willing, and being. So, so that gives us a real nice clarity about human soul. But to me, soul is much bigger than just human beings. I mean, I really believe there are many levels of soul. There's that personal soul, which we just talked about. And, I was raised in a spiritual tradition where you had an eternal personal soul that continued on after you died. But, as I've developed and Jude and I have studied family systems, it's very obvious that there is also a family soul. And lots of information is carried by the family down through generations. So that's really clear. There's also what I would call a tribal soul. And we all have seen that kind of manifested in many ways. People really gravitate toward their own tribe, and it has a certain cultural soul and context in which everybody operates. There's a local community soul. I mean, the communities that you live in, and when you drop into a new community, you kind of get the vibe of what the soul of that community is. And sometimes it feels comfortable and sometimes it doesn't, There's also my sense that there's an earth soul for sure. I mean, the planet itself has a soul that we're part of. And we're seeing that now in terms of, the climate catastrophe, I'm going to call it. We have that planetary piece. And the last one, and this is one that causes us a lot of trouble too, is we seem to have this national soul. We get identified with a nationality or a group of people, maybe, in our country. And it's really easy to feel that when you go to another country, you can feel that sense. Some countries have it very strong and other countries don't. So I think what I'm basically saying is that all these different levels of soul are interconnected and can't really be separated. The word I really love is, I think I got this from Thich Nhat Hanh, but it's interbeing. We're all interbeing, and that's the good news and the bad news, because we're influenced by all that around us. But it also means, and this is where we're going to go today, it also means we have power to make the changes that are needed, in the world, because we can influence everything else. So I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But what I wanted to do to start with is I wanted to give you a little more experience of some of these different levels of soul, particularly your soul strengths. Everyone on this planet has soul strengths that they can access. And so I'd like to offer a guided meditation, visualization, just in your own mind, of some of these soul strengths. So I'm going to put on some music, and I find that it works better if you're standing. If you can still hear me and stand and move with this, I think you'll find it a little bit more beneficial. If you can't, you don't want to, that's okay. Yeah. So I'm going to start the music, and what I'd love for all of you to do is just start with a nice big deep breath. All my meditations, I start with the breath. I mean, that's the most primary way of engaging with our life. And in the way, in a sense, you know, we're all inspired right now. We're inspiring life energy. And I'm going to, yeah, there we go. Yeah, could we mute before we start? Mute everybody? Yeah, okay, great. All right, great. So here we go. Let me know if the music is too loud or. So again, taking a nice big deep breath. And just remembering that soul speed is much slower than our usual lives. Soul loves to go slow, to drop in. So that's what we're going to be doing right now. With each breath, just scanning your body from the top down, just relaxing your eyes. You might want to close your eyes. Soft jaw. Dropping your shoulders a little bit. Allowing yourself to come down to soft belly. Feeling your breath in your chest and down in your belly. Allowing yourself to soften more and more. And as you do that, I'm just appreciating the gift of this body. Sacred temple that we live in. Knowing that the body is doing everything it possibly can to support us. Bring a life to us and to the world. And on the next breath, just follow your breath down all the way into the earth. Another breath, just following it down into the earth. Feeling your connection with the earth. You might even imagine right now that you're going to a place on the earth that you really love. Just imagine the sights and the sounds and smells of that place where you feel really connected to the earth and to nature. Just feel the tremendous satisfaction you get with connecting to this beautiful little planet of ours, this little blue planet. It's our home. It gives these bodies, knowing that every atom in this body comes from the earth and from other beings that have given their lives for us. It's appreciating that we are part of that great cycle of the soul of the earth. Just imagine drawing in the wisdom and strength of that connection to Mother, Father, Earth. And just expanding your vision a little bit, just feeling yourself connecting to plants and animals, little creatures in the soil. And in your imagination, including all the little fungi that connect the plants, all the bacteria and the viruses, all the different levels of life that it takes to interbe on this planet. And what a tremendous source of strength that can be for everyone and for your own soul. Just taking another nice deep breath. We're going to expand that body and earth piece to imagine yourself actually walking on the earth, moving on the earth with your warrior spirit, that part of you that can take action in the world, that can make things happen. Your doer, that part of you that sets out on tasks and gets things done. Just imagine that you're taking kind of a warrior stance, feeling your power to say a big yes and a big no to life, and engaging, making things happen. I usually feel that down around my belly. It's kind of belly wisdom. It's street smarts. That part of us that does a gut check. And feeling the power of that wisdom in us. And with a big breath, just coming up to the area of your heart, breathing into your heart. A whole different kind of wisdom, that part of you that connects deeply, that big heart in you that can reach out and connect with others. Just imagine you're kind of opening your heart right now, just expanding with a big breath. And just feeling those circles of relationships around you. Your beloveds, the people so close to you. Just imagine your partners and your family and your deep friends standing in a circle around you. Feeling the tremendous amount of gratitude you have for these deep connections of giving and receiving love. What a tremendous strength and soulful connection this is. How you can deepen into soul with another being. We also want to remember that this part of us can connect very deeply with all our inner parts. All those different aspects of ourselves that come alive, these old patterns that we have, these ways of, navigating the world. Some of them are still working for us really well, and then there's others that kind of get in the way. And we might have a chance to talk a little bit about that later. Just sending a blessing to all your inner parts. all the different aspects of yourself. And a couple of more nice deep breaths into your heart, feeling the power of that kind of wisdom. And again, we're going to shift a little bit. So taking another nice deep breath. And allow your attention to shift to the area of your big mind, however you conceive of that. Another way of accessing wisdom. And the big mind has the capacity to expand out and be really open. Open attention is the word I often use, open awareness. And just allow all kinds of possibilities, all kinds of creativity and awesome potential. And this part of you can also really drill down and seek knowledge and look at your projections out into the world. And when needed, you can see those patterns that aren't working. And you can actually change your mind. And of course, there is that part of us that can actually watch our thinking. That witness self is a part of you that can feel whatever you're feeling right now, can think, oh, I'm having this thought, this image is coming up. Human consciousness, a miracle, amazing. So just breathing into the miracle of our awareness. Right here, right now, in this moment. And now we're going to shift again. So take a nice big deep breath. And we're going to shift our awareness to one of those other aspects of soul, the ancestral connections. I want you to just imagine now, as you're sitting or standing, that enormous number of beings behind you. All those men and women, those thousands and thousands of generations who passed life down to you. What a miracle. Here you are. A gift of all those previous generations. And knowing that there are beings in that line of spirits and those who have come before who bless you and support you. Knowing that there are patterns and ways of being that you've been given, and that you can actually draw soul energy from. In many traditions, ancestors are much more revered and connected with. But maybe this is a time when you can, in your heart and your mind and in your soul, reach out to those ancestrals, your lineage, and ask for their blessing. my experience, they love it when you ask. With the nice breath, make one more shift in the soul realm. And let's imagine that you're following that lineage back thousands and thousands of generations, back through time and space. And I invite you now to connect with your spirit energy, that source energy, however you conceive of that divine source that's behind all those generations, and really the sense of interbeing at its largest, at its most unfathomable. And just taking a minute here to really breathe in the gift of that source energy, that divine spark, whatever you call that, whatever your name for it is. Just reaching back and around and in and out, just feeling the interpenetration and inner being of all those different levels of soul. Just knowing that you are one wave in that immense ocean of being. Taking another couple of nice big deep breaths, just feeling that gift of life that you're taking right here, right now, being totally supported by the gift of life. As we slowly close this meditation, I'd like you to just imagine, you're reaching out your arms as wide as you can, and you're just gathering it all in, just bringing it, all those soul strengths that you have, all those interconnections, feeling that immensity that also lives in you. So with one more deep breath, just slowly coming back into the space here between us and wherever you are right now, and soft eyes, keeping the soft belly and soft jaw. Just slowly coming back into your chair or wherever you were to start. So thank you all. We're going to be doing a process that I call 4 gateways, a very simple version. And how this works is you take that dimension of soul that you're interested in expanding or working with, and you think about what it is that might get in the way of you manifesting that as completely and clearly and fully as you can. So what I'd like you to do, if you want, is just write it down on a piece of paper. Just what dimension of soul is calling you most deeply? What do you want? And what might get in the way? What might keep you from exploring that to the depth that you'd really like. And, for example, I might want to explore one of those global challenges. Why am I not doing more around climate change? And, a voice that might show up there is like, I'm just a little guy, what's little recycling going to do? I just feel like I can't really impact the big picture. And so, I limit myself there because I say, I'd really love to do something about this, in a big way. And so that's what I'd write down. That'd be one thing I could write down this morning. But as I said, this could be some thought you're having that gets in the way, something that gets in the way of your self-care, your physical self-care, a relationship issue, a spiritual dimension issue. Why am I not meditating, or whatever. Yep. So I'd like you to, again, take a nice big deep breath. And imagine that you're looking at yourself from the outside with this issue. You're looking at this man or woman who's got a desire to manifest his or her soul more deeply in this particular area. And there's some limiting thought or something that gets in the way of their full expression. So as you look at this from the outside, what are your thoughts, judgments, and perceptions about this person with the dilemma? What are your thoughts, judgments, and perceptions about the man or woman who has this problem, has this issue that they're working with? And just take a couple minutes to jot down whatever thoughts, judgments, perceptions come to mind. Looking at yourself with this issue from the outside, what are your thoughts, judgments, perceptions about this person that has the issue? Okay, taking a nice deep breath. I'd like you to move so you actually look at the paper or in your mind's eye, kind of rotating a quarter turn. So you're actually looking at yourself from a slightly different perspective. The body's very literal, so I want you to take a different perspective and look at this man or woman from a slightly different perspective. This is an interesting question. So kind of coming down into your belly wisdom, when you see this man or woman, what's the payoff of staying stuck? How does this actually kind of confirm a certain kind of status quo or way of being? What do they potentially actually get out of that limitation that they're feeling? There's some way in which there's a risk not taken here. And if it comes to you, like what would be the risk? What would be the risk of them changing this pattern? What would be the risk of them actually shifting in some way and being able to manifest their soul movement in a bigger way? Yeah, what's that risk? Another minute or so. Okay, great. Another big breath and another quarter turn, however that works for you. We're going to look at this man or woman from another perspective. So I want you to come into your heart space. I want you to just breathe into your heart a couple of times. You're just feeling as you look at this man and woman and looking from that place of big heart, what's your felt sense as you look at them with this issue, this dilemma? Are you frustrated? Are you sad? Are you angry? Are you afraid? Are you sympathetic? Keep it simple. What's the feeling you get when you look at where this person is with this issue? I mean, it's probably a combination of things, which is fine. So just jot that down. What's your felt sense? Maybe even where do you feel it in your body? What's the feeling you get when you look at where this person is with this dimension of soul and its expression? Okay, so one last big deep breath, and we're going to make another quarter turn. You might be close to back where you were, but that's okay, just as long as you've shifted a little bit. So another deep breath, and we're going to shift to another dimension of soul wisdom, and that is we're going to look at this person from sort of a sovereign perspective. And the question here is, what kind of support would they need to make a move in the direction that they desire here? What would support look like? I mean, it could be internal or external. How could this man or woman ask for support? How could they support themselves? How could they allow more interbeing to happen? What would they have to do to, take the risk? I mean, what kind of support would be needed to take the risk to move on this issue? And if you get that, there's another question here that I like to ask, and that is, how is this issue just perfect for your soul right now? I mean, how is engaging at this level of soul work, this dimension of soul work, how is it actually calling your soul to evolve and grow and expand and manifest in the best possible way? How are these challenges that this person's experiencing actually deepening them into their soul work? So we're looking for support needed and an image or a creative imagining of how this is actually calling them to be bigger and deepen into their soul work. I just wanted to just offer my appreciation for everybody to being here this morning and being willing to go through this. And I'd love to hear just a couple of most sovereign, soulful self. And just close your eyes a minute and just feeling all those ancestors and that source energy behind you. Just imagine yourself stepping out and taking whatever risks are necessary for you to be totally creative, allowing your unique genius to be with the whole world. And just imagine that the world actually needs what you have to offer. And it's so, so important to bring all of yourself, your fullness to your life and everyone you touch. And I know that you will. I mean, it is so reassuring to know that you're out there spreading those ripples of possibility and creativity into the world. So thank you all very much. Many blessings. Have a great rest of your life. A great rest of your soul life.